Hi everyone, Season 5 has been out for a little while and I keep getting the same questions about what to do and how to farm certain things. So I want to give you some tips about the general progression and maybe for you as well to just finish out your character or maybe start an alt. So let's get started and talk about mythic items. A lot of people ask me, how do you get mythic items most effectively? Well, the most effective way of getting them is from tormented boss rotations. So usually what you want to do is you want to take your Stygian stones that you have acquired, for example, from farming the pit or the infernal hordes. They are pretty plentiful in tier 7 and especially tier 8 hordes if you can do those. But even in tier 6, they can drop from the material chest. Otherwise, in the pit, you get them depending on the tier between like every 6 to 10 runs or so. You get one. And with those stones and some boss materials, you can go and do tormented bosses. Tormented bosses have a 7.5% chance to drop a mythic item, any of them randomly for whatever your class can use. This means roughly 1 in 13 kills or so gives you on average a mythic item, which is relatively good odds. On top of this, you can also craft them at the Alchemist, so most people are probably aware of this, but you can do a 4-to-1 transmutation and you can actually choose which of those you want. And you get 3 sparks relatively easily, one from the Mother's Gift that you can turn in here in Sabin set when you are rank 20. So if you do this quest at level 1, you can start gathering Mother's Gift, and usually by the time you hit level 100, you will be roughly ready to turn in the last reward and getting 1 spark. This is repeatable on other characters. So if you do 2 characters, you'll get 2 sparks, and then you get 2 more from your first tormented boss kill of the season, any of them, and 1 more from Lilith. So when you do Lilith, the first kill of the season, or you get carried, a lot of people try to just get a carry as well if they're not strong enough, you get your 4th spark and you can craft the mythic item of your dreams. So this is the most effective way. Now, how do you get tormented boss rotations, and what does that mean? Tormented boss rotations is basically 4 people coming together, everyone brings the same amount of materials. Like, for example, you say, okay, we're doing a rota of 8 kills, for example. So you bring 2 stones, so you can summon him twice, like let's say Grimoire, and in that case, maybe a bit of living steel. So this is the materials for 2 Grimoires, it would be 30 and 2. And then everyone else does the same. And then you go there and then you summon. Another guy summons, another guy summons, and so on. And you multiply the amount of loot you're gonna get from your own materials. This is much more effective than just doing it solo, of course, because everyone gets the same loot, even though you don't have to pay the cost to summon. The only thing you're not getting is the extra boss materials that drop from, for example, Grimoire or Vashan for Duriel or for Andarion. But other than that, you get a lot of value out of doing those rotations, and you can find those groups either in trade chat. I do it actually relatively often, just try to recruit people from trade chat, at least on hardcore. That seems to kind of work. Otherwise, for my stream chat as well, and Discord communities. I have a large Discord. There's an LFG channel. There's a Sanctuary Discord that people use that I know. I'm personally not really active there, but there are these Discord communities that you can go check out and try to get those rotations. And this is how most people do it. Now, another question that I keep getting all the time is, how do you actually get those boss materials? Like, what do you do? Like, everyone has plenty of Stygian stones, especially this season with like the insane drop rates you can get in a higher tier Infernal Hordes. As I mentioned, like tier 6 plus Infernal Hordes does drop these, and especially if you can farm 8. Sometimes I have gotten like, I don't know, 8 to 10 stones per run. So a lot of people spend a lot of time in Hordes and don't really get any of the other stuff in order to actually summon those bosses. So what do? Well, we have Valyrian Hearts, we have Steel, we have the Blood, and the Distilled Fear. So these are the materials that you are looking for, and they are not that easy to come by. But let's go through them one by one. There is a combination of actually 3 materials that you can get in Helltide pretty efficiently. So Living Steel comes from Helltide directly from the chest. So whenever Helltide is active, you want to try to open the big Living Steel chest. So you can go here and you can combine this with Whispers. There's always exactly 10 Grim Favors when you go to Helltide. So every hour you can go there, spend like something like 5 minutes, 10 minutes maximum, I guess, in order to finish those Whispers. You do 1 Blood Maiden kill usually, and then there's like an objective like, yeah, slay a Hellborn, you can spawn this in a few minutes, or open 3 Tortured Gifts, and these kind of like 3 Grim Favor events. And then there's like 1 Grim Favor, like slay some demons, slay some cultists, whatever, assist Iron Wolves, click on Doomsayers. Now, some of these can take a while, especially sometimes I just don't find the Doomsayers, but you don't have to finish them all. So usually the big one is the Maiden and then the 3, and maybe one of the small events or something like that. Don't waste your time running around for 15 minutes trying to finish one Grim Favor. So if you don't find them, just go. But other than that, this is very effective. You get lots of living seals, so Grimoire is by far the easiest to farm because you just get tons of this stuff when you open the big chest. And also, there's always 2 zones here. There's like one zone with the Whispers and there's one without, and you can still run over there and open chests here. There's also another living steel chest somewhere, and like this you can get lots of Grimoire mods. So this is like, if you're just after any mythic items at all and you don't care about the boss loot, whatever uniques this boss may drop, then Grimoire is one of the easiest to farm. And at the same time you complete Whispers, and Whispers give you Bashan mods. So these Millennium Hearts now are the only material you need for Bashan. You need 5 of them, and occasionally you still get like these bones here and stuff like that. And people are asking like, why is it still in the game? Well, I have no clue, to be honest, but you can go to the Alchemist and convert them to the hearts. So here again you have the transmutation of summoning items, so the head, the hand and the ephemeris, you can all convert them to hearts. And then you can go and farm Vashan, which is located here in the Tree of Whispers. This is a good combination. If you want to farm even more Vashan, then I also recommend you farm these Hellbreach Whispers. So I think every 1.5 hours you get one of these. They are relatively fast for 5 Grim Favors, so this is relatively efficient. The world bosses are not bad when they pop up. They also have a 5 Grim Favor objective most of the time. Now, if you have completed a lot of world bosses, then sometimes there's a bit of a cooldown, but this is nice. And the PvP Whispers. So this is what I like to do as well. They are just like 5 and free for like 2 minutes of work or so, at least as long as you're getting interrupted by other people. I really like doing the PvP Whispers, but they only pop up every 3 days. And if you want even more Vashar materials, then I would recommend you go farm some of those zones where there's a harvest event or ritual event. So we have this, for example, this is a very nice one. There's ritual and harvest. They're both free Grim Favors. So you can, for example, do like, like corpse thing there, maybe a corpse thing there. At the same time, you gather your harvest stuff. You go there, turn this in, you click the rituals, and you also have pretty much a full turn-in. So this is how you farm Bashan mats. And then we have the Exquisite Blood. This is for Lord Zir. You need 9 of those per Zir. And the main source of that, again, is the Blood Maiden. So while farming the Living Seal for Grimoire, you can also just do more Blood Maidens. This is very effective if you have more people there that can also contribute those hearts, because those hearts are not really, infinite basically these days. A lot of people don't spend that much time in Helltide anymore, and you kind of want to preserve them. But if you have many hearts, you can just go there and summon a bunch, or maybe try to make a party. You can even bring multiple parties there and then just have people that contribute 1 heart per 3 maiden kills or something like that. And it's going to be very, very efficient if you do that with many people. And like this, you can get 1 blood per kill. If you kill her instantly, it takes roughly a minute per blood maiden. If it takes a bit longer to kill her, maybe 1.5 minutes or something like that. When there's many people, she should go down pretty fast. And this is a relatively efficient way of farming Exquisite Blood. Other than that, you get free from the world bosses and the occasional random drops. So Exquisite Blood is definitely the hardest to come by. And then we have Distilled Fear. This is for Beast in the Eyes. In the patch on the 20th of August, so basically now when I'm recording this, is a buff, or like rather a bug fix to the Beast in the Eyes. The tormented version of it did not really drop what it should drop. It drops these dolls, and usually in Tormented you should get 5 of them, but previously only 1. So that is getting fixed, and I expect a lot more people will do these Tormented Beast in the Ice rotations. And Distilled Fear is best found in Tier 100 Nightmare Dungeons. So it starts in Tier 30 Nightmare Dungeons, you get 1 per run, and then it scales up to, for example, Tier 60, you get 2 per run, and then at Tier 90 plus you get 3 per run. I recommend just farm Tier 100s, or maybe if you're too weak, farm Tier 90s or whatever. And you get 3 fear per run. It's actually very fast. 3 runs is 1 spawn, and this is actually one of the easier bosses to farm. And then whenever you fight those bosses, you can also get those other materials here. There's Shard of Agony for Duriel, and there's the dolls for the Andariel. So you get this from fighting the other bosses. And generally you want to do all of the bosses that you do as Tormented. Even if you are not strong enough, then maybe you can try to just join a rotation as I described earlier, and just bring your materials. At this point, we are like over 2 weeks in the season. There is plenty of people that have very powerful characters that can easily carry a 4-man party. So as long as you bring your materials, I think don't want to really be worrying about actually taking down the boss. That's not really the hard part. The hard part is usually getting those materials. So in that case, when you find people, then yeah, just make sure at least one guy is kind of strong and he should be fine. Now comes another question. What about uniques? So which bosses do you go for? Which, you know, boss should you farm for certain items, or where do you get them? Well, there are certain drops that appear from certain bosses. For example, we have our boss loot cheat sheet here. You might have seen this already. This is a pretty article here that a lot of people just have bookmarked. I recommend you do the same. And we actually have a list of every boss and what they drop. Each boss has specific unique items that they drop. And the same goes for the Infernal Halls now as well. Basically all of the new stuff, including the new aspects, is all there, besides a few of the new unique items that they put on Grimoire for whatever reason. But you want to go and farm certain content of certain bosses for certain items. You can hope for a random drop. Anything can drop anywhere, but the chances of that are really low, especially with more and more items being added to the game. So you really want to go and check this list and see what drops where. So for example, a lot of the sorcerer players this season, they are farming Lord Zir because it drops the Fractured Winterglass. So that's kind of like a very valuable boss to farm these days. Even if you already have a good Fractured Winterglass, you can try to, for example, get one to sell it. And in that case, yeah, just like me, for example, I should luck out at some point, even after I was kind of done with the build, and I got this. You want to check out this list and make sure that you farm the right boss for the items that you need. Not just the mythic items, but also, you know, whatever other uniques are part of your setup. Now, speaking of unique items, what do you actually do with all those leftover good items that you may have found while, for example, farming for those mythic items on those boss rotations? Well, you can try to sell them. The trade chat in-game, unfortunately, is not very effective, so people use websites. For example, the Crimson Market, the sponsor of this video. This is a website that I have been partnered with for quite a while now, and throughout the seasons, I've been using this to pretty good success in order to sell my items. You can see this here, for example. You can list your items pretty easily with just kind of like a snippet or like a screenshot or something, and then people can message you. You can find it in the search. And even on the relatively dead hardcore economy, this has been working pretty great for me. And now I have billions of gold. So sometimes you might get lucky with like a really big drop. And even though it's kind of tedious to trade items in Diablo 4, you might want to try to make use of that and get rich, basically. So this is what I use, and I want to show you off what this site has to offer. So first of all, you have this trade search and the listings. So you can just go there. You have this magic search feature where you can just type anything you want, like the name of an item, the name of an aspect. You can type stats that you want, like glove, crit, glove, bone spear, or, you know, winter glass or something like that. And then you can go and find this without all these drop down menus that you have to go through. It can be sorted by season, eternal, hardcore, softcore, and so on. And then, for example, here I go in hardcore, and on my listings, I will see my own items that I have listed. So I've been doing this quite a lot, and I've been selling quite a bunch of stuff. So this has been working pretty well. And if you're looking for a trading platform, then I recommend you go check this out here. So I have actually 69 listings. Very nice. And you can see here, for example, you can click on the items, and then if I was not myself, I could now just message me basically from this overview here. And as myself, I can either read or mark as sold so that other people don't spam me about the same item over and over. What's also really cool is that they have synced their website with Discord servers, including my own. So if you see this down here on the left side, if you scroll down to the channels, there are these trade channels here, and they are softcore, hardcore trade, and then, you know, split between different item types, for example. And you can actually type something here in this Discord or on any other Discord that has their Crimson Market broker bot that apparently is like roughly 100 servers or so, they told me. And this will all be synced across all of the servers and the trading site, and the owner of the item will get the message. So that's also really cool. If you don't see those channels, you want to go here up to the channels and then select the trade channels. If you prefer using the Discord instead of the trading website, you can do that, or you just do right click, show all channels. Also, hot off the press, basically, they have their Crimson Market Compendium. This is an Overwolf app that allows you to directly list items from the game as well with an overlay. So it looks like this here. And you can just connect your account basically, and then you set all the settings here as mode, softcore, hardcore, the price, and so on. Just take like a snippet of the item, and you don't even have to go out of the game in order to do this. So this is a very simple way to also list your items directly on a trade. Very cool feature, I think. So you can go check out all the details here and what people say. But I think this is like a really cool addition to their arsenal. Lastly, I want to talk about their loyalty club. So they do regular PC giveaways and other stuff for their loyalty members. I have been pulling some of the winners for their PC giveaways, and so has Rax. So it's kind of like split between the two of us, and roughly every month they give away a custom built badass PC, including in 4 days from now on Saturday, there is going to be this Bumblebee, the wicked Bumblebee PC here. So there's a beast that has pretty big hardware, and especially if you like Transformers, is like a really cool, like, you know, custom PC to have. So you might want to check that out. And they have been doing other really cool PC giveaways in the past. So my favorite is the last E-Clock. That was this one here. So for last Epoch fans, that's also a really cool one. But there's also other really cool stuff. They have done this black box computer, like a tiny one. And they always come up with some really cool ideas, basically, of what to do there. And, you know, build like these badass PCs. They're usually like also very powerful PCs. And if you want to try to have a chance to win this, you need to sign up for their loyalty club here. So we have this here. You can see some of the details. And they give 30 days for free for first-time users as well for the royalty here. And depending on which tier you choose, you get more loyalty points. So it's like a linear progression. The more points you have, the higher the chances. So for people that stay with them, stay loyal, this is why it's called that way, they have better chances. But you can sign up for free and try your luck. And you can also immediately cancel, and you will keep your loyalty points, so they will not just disappear or, you know, decay or something like that. So you will be in the run as long as you are a subscriber to this Crimson Market loyalty club. Right now there's not even that many people in the run, so the chances are really good. And this will be on Saturday, the giveaway. This should be on my stream, but at Gamescom I can't do it live, so this will be on Rex's stream. So watch out for Rex's stream on Saturday if you want to see who's the winner. So pretty cool stuff they're doing. The Crimson Market also has their own Discord. I can also link that. They have like their community there, and people are trading there, and, you know, they always post their updates and stuff like that. So go check us out. I think they're doing pretty cool stuff. And with all that said, I want to give another shout out to the Crimson Market. Thanks for sponsoring this video. And let's finish with the rest of the tips. And then we come to Masterworking. So what about Masterworking? Neve Iron is pretty plentiful, especially if you can farm T7 plus Infernal Hordes. So if you get to tier 7 Hordes, you're going to have so much of the stuff if you keep doing Infernal Hordes. This is crazy. Compared to Season 4, for example, where you only had the pit, you can get materials multiple times faster now. And this means you can masterwork your stuff a lot. You can try to go for the perfect outcomes on your masterwork items, something like this here and so on. Something like this here, and it is actually much more reasonable to get to this point where you have exactly that triple hit, or at least, like, you know, the right combination of good masterworked crits like this. And this is really nice at this season. So Infernal Hordes, if you cannot do tier 7 Infernal Hordes, you don't get Neve Iron, you get Ingolith instead. So there's a huge jump in efficiency from tier 6 to tier 7, not so much from tier 7 to tier 8. So it's not a massive increase there, but tier 6 to tier 7 is a massive jump. And it is actually not such a bad idea to farm the pit a little bit early on before you can do tier 7 Hordes. So this is what I have done, especially on hardcore, just to make it safer. Hordes is relatively dangerous, and doing like tier 7s or tier 8s is no joke. You need a pretty good character. Even on softcore, a lot of people have trouble with that. And I would recommend that, you know, in order to get your first materials, if you are still struggling with Infernal Hordes early on, then just farm the pit a little bit. Something like tier 70 to tier 90 pit is relatively easy for many builds these days. And when you have like a meta setup, at least, even when it's not fully masterworked and fully perfect or anything like that, and you can start masterworking your stuff up, you can get some pretty huge power spike. And then eventually maybe try to get a mythic item, you know, get like something like a Harlequin Crest for your sword, or get something like a Tyrius Might that goes into basically any build, and this makes you very tanky in the Infernal Hordes as well, and then you can transition at some point to farming your materials there. Now the thing is about masterworking, when you do this a lot and you have a lot of gold, and you know, gold income is much higher this season as well, and people start resetting the items over and over with the blacksmith in order to get the right masterworking hits, it can be pretty difficult. They run out of other materials. And this is the rawhide and the iron chunks. So that is actually kind of funny, but this has happened to quite a lot of people apparently. Now, not to me, I have been blasting quite a lot and I haven't actually masterworked that much, so I'm okay. But there is a very easy and effective strategy to get a rawhide, and that is farm Legion events. So whenever Legion events pop up here, they are, I think, roughly every half hour or so. You want to go there, so clear the Cordogan stronghold here, and there's a bunch of other strongholds, I think like this one here, that you need to clear because they appear there sometimes as well. But whenever you see them, just go there and you get tons of this material. So bundled herbs, rawhide, iron chunk, I think you get 900 of each per legion. So this is very effective. And want to go there and this solves all of the issues. If you do this like, 5 times, 10 times or something like that, it takes a few minutes each time. You're not going to be in trouble anymore. Another few small things that people might want to farm specifically that they might run out of is, for example, obtuse sigils or these other materials here. These days you need a lot of these for enchanting. So especially if you are very rich, you have a lot of gold, maybe you have sold some really big item on a trade site, like the Crimson Market, then you can potentially run out of this stuff if you go ham on, like, let's say, re-rolling your neck, to get exactly the right passive, and you spend like 1 billion gold. Well, it's not just about the gold, but it's also about these abstruse sigils, for example. So there's not really an easy way here. You have to farm items, you have to salvage those items, in particular legendary items. So when you farm, for example, Infernal Hordes, a lot of people on the higher tiers don't really open the material, the item chest at all. So personally, on tier 7 and tier 8, I've barely ever opened the item chest. Maybe you can go for the 60 cost chest that gives you the GA items. That's kind of okay. But outside of that, mostly it's just opening material chests. And this means you don't really get much of this. This doesn't drop from the material chest. So you have to go and farm something else in order to get legendary items. So keep an eye out in Hell Tides, for example, open those item chests, especially if you find like green chests, emerald chests, and so on. I always go for those when I see them. Or for example, here and there, I just farm the pit a little bit. It's just fun to, break up the monotony of Infernal Hordes a little bit, go some pits, and you get a bunch of loot there, especially if you can run, like, for example, tier 101 really fast. This is like the end game farming tier you want to aim for. You get lots of obols there, you get a bunch of loot, and then those obols you can take and you can gamble amulets, you can gamble rings. These are typically also some of the hardest items to get for any setup. Now, in case of like a sword, for example, you might have Fractured Winter Glass, you don't really gamble amulets, but generally amulets is the slot to gamble for, just because it's so hard to get a really good one. So in that case, yeah, you can get a lot of these obscure sigils there, or whatever else you may need. You might want to gamble for those and just help you out with those extra legendary material income. Other than that, also when you, for example, farm nightmare dungeons, you can do those events whenever there's like curse events or these, last stand events and whatever. They also tend to drop a bunch of these materials. So this can help you as well. And lastly, Runeshards. So Runeshards in particular, if you want to farm the pit a lot, they have not been dropping at the start of the season. For some reason this was bugged and Nightmare Dungeons just didn't give them, but you can now farm them. This has been fixed. So each Nightmare Dungeon above tier 46 gives you 3 Runeshards. That used to be a lot more. I'm not sure why they nerfed it or if this is a bug as well. But either way, you can get them there. Or Helltide chests also give you 3 each. So I do have some Runeshards, and this allows me to do like a few hundred runs here in the pit, for example. Especially maybe later in the season, if you want to do some pit pushing, try to go to the maximum, maybe try to get the 150 achievement on like a really strong character or something like that, then yeah, you can use a lot of these Runeshards and you can run out of them really fast. But this is how you get them. It's not that easy anymore. And that concludes this video here. So I hope this helps you out in Season 5 with how to farm everything. If you also want to read up on some more, then I recommend you, as I mentioned here, the boss loot table cheat sheet. We have this here in the seasonal section. We also have this general farming guide that kind of shows you a bunch of the details of how to get everything in the game, where you can find certain things about, also what I explained, boss summoning, certain materials, currencies. This is also actually a section that we're currently building out to be more expansive. So there's going to be more articles like this that briefly explain how to get certain things, similar to what I have done now in this video. So keep an eye out here for the future. So hope I could help you. Hope you liked this video, and I'll see you guys next time.